The second lesson in After Effects is going to be similar to the first one, just adding a couple things and adding some effects and changing the keyframes. But the first thing we have to do is we actually have to create something to put into After Effects. So open up Photoshop and then go to the internet and find a picture of the earth. I'm just going to Google images. I kind of want a cartoon one, so I'm actually do this one. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go to File, and once you're in Photoshop, go to File, New. And then if you've already copied it, you just have to hit OK because it's going to automatically do the dimensions. Then I'm just going to paste. If it pastes a white background, we don't want the white background, so make sure you delete that layer so that way your background should just be the gray and white speckered transparent stuff. Okay, now here we need to actually add some artboard to it. So I'm going to go to, once I've pasted my picture, go to canvas size, and we are going to do points 640 by 480. Okay, and then I'm going to move my earth to the side here. We want a little bit of space right here because we're actually going to write something here. You can make this a little bit bigger if you want. If yours is smaller, by Command T, the transform button. Okay, next, take the pen tool, which is right here. And I would just kind of start a little ways off of it, not too far off. So about right here. And you're just going to kind of make a path around the earth, but only about halfway around. And remember, in order to get rid of this, hold down Option, click to get rid of that line right there, and then continue around. I'm just going to do something like that. Once you're good with that, hit the text tool. And do you see that little squiggly line right next to it? Click that, and then I'm going to put, that's kind of huge. I'll do 25 for now. Destinations. Okay, once you're at destinations, you can highlight it. Make sure you're on the text tool. You can change the font type, change the font size, things like that. Make sure you don't cut off any of the word. So destinations is as big as I can get. Okay, so I have this. Also, the words, I'm actually going to make the words by clicking on this. I'm going to choose a dark blue that's on my earth. So something like that. Okay, once you're done with that, File, save it. I'm just going to save it as a logo. Make sure you just save it as a Photoshop. Okay, now we're done with that, so now open up After Effects. After you open up After Effects, go to Composition, New Composition. We're just going to do the, name it, Lesson 2. Preset is NTSC-DV, so it's 720 pixels by 400 pixels. We're going to do 3 seconds, so make sure you have 300 right here for 3 seconds. Then click OK. Okay, I'm going to double click in the project panel. I'm going to double click and go to wherever you saved your earth and make sure you import it as a composition. Click OK. Just do editable layer styles and then drag it down. Perfect. Next thing you need to do is you need to go to Google Classroom and you actually need to download this Paris River right here. Once you downloaded it, go into After Effects, double click on projects and find where you downloaded it to. Whoops. I just imported the whole file. I don't want to do that. Oh gosh, I keep importing the whole file. Okay, once you find the Paris River, wherever you downloaded to, make sure it's a footage and just click OK. And then drag it down. And then it's kind of big, so with the Paris River layer selected, go to Layer, Transform, Fit to Comp. And then the logo layer, we can actually shrink that a little bit too and place it, say, right there. Okay, so now that we have everything we need into After Effects, we can start animating it. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to double click on the logo layer and it's going to open up in itself, which is fine. Hit this text tool right here and type Travel Europe. Okay. You can place it wherever you have room on, like over here, over here, over here. I obviously need to shrink mine a little bit because mine's a little bit. I'm going to put mine down here. Okay. You can make it any color that you want by clicking over here. I actually kind of like that color, so I think I'm just going to leave that color. You can change the font size. You can change the font type right here. Just get Travel Europe somewhere. And then once I click back over here, you'll be able to see that I have added Travel Europe. So you can kind of see the placement of it on your thing. I think I might just want to move it up. I don't actually like it there. That's better. I actually think it would look best right here, but it cuts it off. So that's why I think it looks best right here, but it gets cut off. So that's why I have to do like over here. Okay, so that's what I'm happy with right there. So now it's time to add some effects to it. Actually, before we go any further, go back to your main one. Let's add these, let's make the words pop out a little bit more. So choose your logo layer and go to Effect, Perspective, Drop Shadow. Once you do that, you notice it adds a drop shadow to my words. 5 is a little bit too much, so under distance, I would probably just change it to say maybe 2 to 4 maybe. Whatever you feel like looks best with what your font is. Okay, now double click on your logo again and open this up. So now we're going to add some actual effects. You can do it in this part or you can do it here. It doesn't really matter. But for the ease of it, let's just go ahead and double click on it and get on this part. So we're going to add something to the Travel Europe. So we don't want Travel Europe to come in right away. So I'm actually going to move my time indicator to about 110, which is like right here. And I'm going to go over here to, actually don't have it. So go to Window, Effects and Presets. And I'm going to search for blur. I want the one that's under text. So it's going to say blur by word. No. Actually, let's not do a blur. Let's do a different one. Let's do a bullet train. I like that one. There we go. Bullet train. Oh, here. Oh, that's good. That's a blur too. So it's perfect. Bullet train. And then make sure your cursor is at 110. Take the bullet train, drag it to Travel Europe. You could also drag it to this layer too. And it will disappear, but if you move your timer, you'll notice that it comes onto the screen. Okay, if I expand Travel Europe and then expand the text and then expand the bullet train animator and then expand range selector, you'll see 2 diamonds. These are my keyframes. So this is when the animation starts, and then the animation is complete by the time I reach the next bullet point, which you notice because all of Travel Europe is in it. So if I wanted to slow it down, I could move this triangle or diamond. If I wanted to speed it up, I could move it in. So I'll just move it out a little bit. Okay, perfect. Okay, the next thing I want to do is I want to add a effect to the destination and the earth. I actually want this to start right away, so I'm going to move my cursor back to the 0. And I am going, let's see, what kind of, we're going to do a dissolve, like a vapor almost. So I'm going to come over here and do dissolve. This one right here, dissolve vapor. Okay, you're going to have to add it twice. So I'm going to click and I'm going to drag it once to destinations. And then again, I'm going to add it to layer 1, which is my earth. So then when I play it, my earth and my word destinations come in. Okay, and then Travel Europe comes in. So then if I go back to lesson 2 and I hit the space bar, let it all render. I have that awesome thing. So that's really all you have to do. Once again, in order for me to see it, you will need to render it. And so in order to do that, you're going to go to Composition, Add to Render Queue. Make sure you click here and make sure you put it somewhere that you know. Okay, save it, and then render it. Then this is your progress bar. Once you get that noise, it's done, and you can go to wherever you saved it. In this case, I think I saved it to my desktop, so you should have a little MOV file, and that's the thing that you're going to turn into me.